It's good morning to you all. So, in our last class, we have done with our unit 2, in which we have seen all the variables of your management control system. Then we have seen different categories of NCS, different types of NCS, what are the attributes, what are the features of it. Okay. Now, in our today's class, we'll continue with your third unit. So, your third unit, I mean, it consists of organization design. In this, we are going to see about organization design, organization design, So before we move on to this, let's have a look towards organization design. Okay. Now, what do you mean by organization design? Basically, organization design, I mean, it refers to how we are dividing the task, how we are grouping the task. I mean, how the employees are grouped as per their skills, as per their qualifications. Okay. And how they are being coordinated within the organization. That means who does what, which employees does what, who reports to whom, and how authority and responsibility flow, and how the communication and coordination takes place between all the employees. Okay, so from a powerful management control system point of view, organization design is one of the most powerful tool you can say. Okay, basically, why this organization design is important in this management control? Because this management control is not only exercising us through budgets, not only exercising us through performance reports or incentives, but it is also exercised through your organization structure, the rules and procedures, the policies, the code of conduct, right? For that purpose, we are using this management control as a we are using this organization design as a powerful tool in your management control system. Now, when employees, they follow this organization design, they have to follow the proper structure of it. They have to perform duties, whatever that is assigned to them. They have to respect the authority and responsibility because management control is automatically achieved. Okay, like how I'll give you a small example. Basically, what happens in a college, the principal has got an overall control. Okay, the vice principal or else you can say the deans. Okay, they have got a control over academic and administrative part. Okay, HODs, they will be taking care of your departmental control. Faculty, they will be going for your teaching and evaluation. So here each person knows this role. Okay, each person knows their authority, their responsibility. So a proper clear structure, is defined for each and every employee to whichever level they belongs to. So the clear structure they ensures the discipline, the coordination, and the accountability. Okay, now next coming towards your communication and coordination. Okay, Organization design also specifies how the departments will communicate with each other and how the information flows from first level to second level, from second to third level, and how the coordination takes place. Okay, like how the faculty basically they try to communicate through HOD. Then HOD will try to report it to principal. Okay, so here this proper hierarchy is avoiding a kind of a confusion and duplication. Okay, when we are speaking about this control perspective, a good organization should also encourage teamwork. It should also promote your cooperation. It should also motivate the employees as well as it should improve the performance that is taking place between the employees by introducing various training and development programs, going with on-job training or off-job training. Okay, I mean allowing the employees for their career progression. Okay, so the structure, whatever that is chosen, it must suit your organization size, it must suit your nature of work, the technology that is being used, the external competition, as well as the internal culture. Okay. Now, next, moving towards your structural dimensions of organization design. Structural dimensions basically it tells us how organizations are formally built to achieve control and efficiency. Okay, so here the environmental, each and every environmental and each and every organization they have got their own structure. When I'm talking about your past scenario, there were some organizations where they used to work in a very stable environment. Okay, they used to I mean face very little competition among them, and also they used to focus mainly on efficiency. Okay, so when these things happen, what is the resultant will be, it will be I mean somewhat hierarchy, I mean it will be complex in nature. Okay, there must be a kind of rule based structure that is suitable, a kind of a rigid structure you can say. But in the present scenario, the same, I mean, the question is not being arisen over here because today's organization, they operate in dynamic market, right? They have got a very huge competition as well as there is a very rapid technological change. Okay. When these things takes place, how does, I mean, what will be the resultant activity? The resultant activity will be like organization will be flexible, they will be adaptive in nature as well as they will be innovative. Like how when I'm speaking about governmental organization or governmental departments, okay, these departments are very stable. I mean, they have got a formal structure wherein all the employees they need to follow some certain rules and regulations. They cannot go beyond to that. Okay. The same if I'm just talking about the startup company. Okay. Startup company also, they are dynamic in nature. Okay. They have got their flexible structure. Okay. Now, next, coming towards your efficiency and flexibility. Okay. Earlier focus was on efficiency of performance. Okay. Cost reduction, standardization. But today, in today's scenario, the focus is on innovation. The focus is on speed, the customer orientation. Okay. Like how if I'm giving an example of your production factory, wherein assembly line factory. Okay, these factories need to have a very strict procedures. Okay, the same if I'm talking about your advertising agency. Okay, advertising agency at the same time they need to have some creativity and freedom. Okay, so too many rules and creative jobs they can demotivate professionals. Okay, coming towards formalization. Formalization in simple words, you can say it's like rules, following the rules and procedures. Okay, that means we are referring to written rules, whatever the policies that are being organized or what is being followed. And then next is what are the standard operating procedures. Now, high formalization. Okay, when we are adopting high formalization in our organization, you will be having better control, but less creativity will be there. Okay. Example is your banks. Okay. Your insurance company. Okay, the more you try to, formalize them, what will be, those people will not be able to, explore that much. Less creativity will be there. Okay, if low formalization is there, more creativity, less standardization. Okay, it's like your IT firms, your research organization. So there is some key challenge for large organization. Basically, as organization grows, more employees, more departments, more rules. Okay, so one of the major challenges how to maintain this control without becoming too rigid. Okay, next is your degree of professionalism. Degree of professionalism, basically it refers to your education, it refers to your training, skill level, expertise of employees. Okay, high professionalism, like professionals like your doctors, your engineers, professors. Okay, chartered accountants, what are the characteristics, what are their attributes, what are their features? They are more self-disciplined, they are motivated by the responsibility. Okay, they need a kind of an autonomy. Okay, at the same time, what is the control method? It's like less supervision. Okay, more trust, result based evaluation. Okay, low professionalism, if I'm talking about workers like your routine job, okay, the class four employees, or the workers, who are being given very limited training. Okay, so the control will be, it's like we have to closely supervise them. Okay, for them, standard procedures are being defined. Okay, and detailed instructions has to be given to them on daily basis. Okay, like example, a professor is there. Okay, if a for a professor, there will be a kind of freedom in their teaching methods. At the same time, if I'm taking an example of a factory worker, for that particular person, you have got a kind of a fixed process and supervision, right? So here I'm just trying to show you the difference between the professional, who are highly professional and who are very less professional. Okay. Next, coming towards your personal ratios. Okay. Now, what do you mean by this personal ratios? Personal ratios means here we are just trying to show how many number of employees are there in a department. Okay. That means comparing to a total workforce. Automatically, it reflects your management priorities. Okay. Like how in your IT company, high technical professionals will be there and few admin staff, right? Taking an example of a banking sector, high customer service staff will be there, but moderate back office staff. Same an example of your manufacturing company. High production staff will be there, but low marketing staff. Okay. So here we are just trying to show a kind of a ratio between the number of employees in the department compared to a total workforce. Okay. So here the personal management, personal ratios, it will help the management basically to allocate the resources effectively, how to control manpower cost, and how to support the strategy. Okay. For example, if a company says customer satisfaction is our priority, but that particular company has got very few customer service employees, then personal ratio will try to show us the mismatch between the strategy and control. Okay. Organization design is there. Organization design is a foundation of management control, as I already told you. So a good structure, it will try to ensure clear roles, effective communication, coordination, motivation, performance. At the same time, modern organization, they have to balance control and flexibility. They have to go with rules and creativity, efficiency and innovation. Okay, so the budget controls money, but organizations structure controls people. Okay, now next coming towards types of organization structure. We have got different types of organization structure. Okay, you have got your hierarchical structure, you have got your departmental structure, horizontal structure, vertical structure. So one by one, we are just going to look into it. Organization structure basically refers to how authority, responsibility, the communication, coordination, and control are arranged in an organization. Okay, so broadly, organization follow two approaches to structural design. The first is your hierarchical structure, and the second is your flat structure. Okay, so whatever the choice that you are making is very critical because basically the organization determines how decisions are made, how information flows, how control is exercised, and how we are going to balance between efficiency and innovation. Okay, let's have a look towards your organization, or hierarchical organization structure. Okay, this hierarchical structure is one of the most traditional form of organization where authority and control they together flow vertically from top to bottom. Okay, so the organization is arranged in multiple layers. Like you have got your top management, you have got your middle management, lower management, then you have your operating employees. So here each level they have got their roles clearly defined. Authority and responsibility are clearly defined at each and every level of your organization. Okay, so hierarchical organization is one in which power and control they flow from top management to lower level of management through a chain of command. Okay, now how control and information flow? Basically, the strategies are formulated at top level. This is already defined. I mean, this we already know it. What is the responsibility of middle management? They try to convert strategy into plans. Okay, and the lower level employees they try to execute tasks. Okay, so here the report moves from upward and the instructions move downwards. Okay, are you able to figure out? The report move upward and the instructions move downward. So when this is happening, this ensures we have got a tight management control. Okay, now let's have a look towards characteristics of your hierarchical structure. The first is your centralized decision making. Okay, basically, in centralized decision making in this hierarchical structure, decision making power is concentrated at higher levels. Okay, and the lower level employees cannot take any kind of major decisions. So the problems must be passed up to the hierarchy. Okay, if I'm taking an example of a banking sector, okay, in a bank, a clerk cannot approve a loan. Who approves loan? Basically, a branch manager. Okay, that too, branch manager can approve small loans. If you have got a very large loan, who will approve it? Your regional office manager. So here what is happening? The decisions are moving up and the approvals are moving down. Okay. Next is your superior lead. Superior lead. Okay. Here the superiors, they plan, they organize, and they try to delegate their work. At the same time, subordinates are expected to follow instructions, right? So initiatively, most, decisions lies with the managers only. Okay, like in a factory, production managers plans daily targets, right? Supervisor allocate work, and workers perform the assigned task. Here, workers will not decide what to do, right? Only they know how to do it. Next is strict rules and procedures. That means high degree of formalization will be there. Written rules exist for routine problems. It reduces the need for your managerial involvement in minor issues. Okay, basically in government offices, what happens? You have got certain rules for leaves, you have got certain rules for promotion, at the same time, attendance procedures. So here everything is documented and standardized. Okay, so we need to follow those strict rules and procedures. So high degree of formalization will be there. Next is clear reporting lines. Okay. In this, each employee will have an immediate superior. Okay. And the reporting relationships are clearly defined at each and every level. Okay. The task, the authority, and accountability are unambiguous in nature. Okay. Like in a college, when I'm talking about a lecturer will report to your HOD, HOD will report to your principal. The lecturer does not bypass the HOD, right? So here, this particular hierarchy, this particular level, it will try to avoid confusion and conflict. Large size. Next characteristics is your large size. Okay. Basically, hierarchical structures are common in large organizations. One manager can supervise only a limited number of people. So, as employees increase, what will happen? More managerial layers are added into it. Okay. A multinational company is there. In this multinational company, you have got a CEO, you have got a country head, you have got regional managers, area managers, you have got branch managers. So what is this hierarchy telling us? This hierarchy is naturally growing as per the size of the organization. Okay. The more number of people, okay, the more hierarchy you need to follow. Okay. So sometimes it becomes very complex in nature. Okay. Now, next coming towards the advantages of your hierarchical structure, high efficiency. So, high hierarchical structure it provides you clearly roles and responsibilities, high specialization, well defined procedures, and predictable operations. So, this will make our control in a very easy and effective manner. Okay. And this automobile manufacturing plant is there. Okay, so the assembly line workers they perform specialized tasks. They have got strict quality checks. They have very high productivity and consistency. At the same time, what are the cons of it? Disadvantages. Strength depends upon leaders. Okay, what do you mean by this? The effectiveness of the entire hierarchy depends on the quality of leadership at the top. If leaders are inefficient, if the leaders are biased or poor communicators, what will happen? The entire system suffers. Okay, like a weak department head is there. Okay, which is trying to demotivate faculty, which is trying to create a kind of confusion among peers. Okay, so ultimately, what will happen? It leads to resignations and gossips. Okay, next disadvantage is your culture of politics and information distortion. Okay, so here the information is passed through many layers. Each layer have its own modification or they can go with your filter facts. And top management may not get the true picture. When they are not getting the true picture, what will happen? That leads to your politics that goes on in office. You will have some kind of favoritism. Wrong decisions will take place. Okay, like salary figures. Okay, these salary figures are exaggerated by managers just to impress your superiors. Okay, this will lead to your unrealistic targets, pressure on employees. Okay, third disadvantage is your demotivational for young and innovative employees, like little freedom to take decisions. If you are adopting strict rules, limit creativity, culture of pleasing the boss. So, if these things are there, this will discourage your innovation, risk taking task, employee engagement. Okay, so the hierarchical organization should try to attract employees, whoever will try to prefer job security over their rapid growth. Okay, so when this hierarchical structure is best suited for, it is best suited for your large organization. It is best suited for where you have got a routine and standardized work and where you have strong control requirements. However, no doubt it will slows your decision making. It will reduces innovation. At the same time, it can demotivate young professionals as well. So therefore, modern organization they often combine hierarchy with flexibility just to balance control and creativity. Now, next I'm speaking about horizontal organization. Okay. Horizontal organization is one in which all the hierarchical levels are minimized. Okay, in a hierarchical structure, authority does not flow strictly from top to bottom. Instead, here what happens, employees are being empowered to take their own decisions. Their communication flows across all the departments, as well as the collaboration and teamwork are emphasized. So here the hierarchy still exists, but whatever the roles are there, okay, they are limited to strategic planning, okay, they are limited to your resource allocation, conflict resolution, and interaction with your external stakeholders. So the day to day decisions are mostly taken by teams and individuals. Okay, so this hierarchy organization is a structure where you have got very fewer management levels and where employees will try to work collaboratively and they have got a greater decision making freedom. Okay, now what are the key features of your horizontal organization? You have got a very minimal hierarchy. Okay, decentralized decision making is there, strong interdepartmental communication, employee empowerment, focus on innovation and learning is there. But why the organization will try to adopt this horizontal structure? Because it responds quickly to changes. Okay, it encourages innovation. It will try to reduce delays in decision making. It will try to improve your employee motivation. So this particular structure is very common in your startup companies or your consulting firms or your research organization or your IT companies. Okay. Now, the first is your information system. Okay, this is one of the tool. That means the tools that I use to, avoid deep hierarchy. The first is your information system. IT is basically used extensively to share knowledge, to exchange ideas, reduce dependency on managerial approvals. And what does the system includes? System includes your database, intranets, okay, then your collaboration platforms, online collaboration platforms, your different communities of practices. Okay, like an example is your software company. A software company is trying to maintain an internal portal listing employee skills. Okay, a kind of FAQs on some technical problems, common technical problems, you can say, or they are going up with online discussion forums. Okay, so here what is happening? The employees will try to have a direct access to information instead of waiting for approval from management. Next is your task force. Okay, task force is nothing but it's a temporary team that is created by collecting the experts in different departments or unit. It is assigned a charter of solving a particular project or problem, and the task force is dissolved once its objectives are accomplished or it's determined that objectives cannot be achieved. Okay, so here what is a task force? A task force is a temporary group which is formed by bringing experts from different departments just to solve a specific problem to complete a project. And it exists only for a limited period. After that, it is dissolved after objectives are achieved. Okay, you can take an example of your university. The university basically they try to form a task force with your faculty members, with your IT technical people, with your administrative staff. Okay, so to implement a new learning management system, okay, they need faculty members, they need technical team, they need administrative staff. Once it is implemented, what will happen? The task force is dissolved. Okay. Next is your project managers. A project manager is appointed who has a primary responsibility to coordinate between employees in different departments. And their role can also include that of a technical leader who is responsible for innovation and is the chief architect of the project. So, a project manager is basically appointed to coordinate work across different departments to ensure timelines and objectives are met, as well as this project manager will act as a technical leader. So they often have a kind of responsibility without formal authority. Like in your IT firm, you have project manager. What does a project manager will try to do? It will try to coordinate developers, the testers, the designers, and the team members still belongs to their departments, but they work together on a particular project to accomplish it. So the project manager, they try to influence through their expertise and leadership, but not for position. Next is team. A cross-functional team in conjunction with a project manager is a solution to long-term collaboration, especially when a task force is not sufficient. Okay, so for long-term and complex projects, cross-functional teams are formed. Okay, so here in this, members will come from different departments. They work together for an extended period and they focus on innovation and problem solving. Like in automobile company, they form a team with engineers, with designers, with marketing experts. So to develop an electric vehicle over several years. This is their task. Now, what are the advantages of your horizontal organization? First is learning organization. Learning organization, it tries to promote your knowledge sharing, continuous learning, and innovation, where they try to maximize the use of collective intelligence. The best example is your research institute, where the scientists are being encouraged to share their findings openly, where they try to collaborate across different disciplines. Okay, and ultimately, this will lead to continuous innovation and better outcomes. What are the disadvantages of horizontal organization? First is difficult to implement. Yes, the success of horizontal organization basically it depends heavily on organization culture. The trust should be there, and there should be a kind of willingness to collaborate with each other. So transforming from hierarchical to horizontal structure is very difficult. Okay, like when a traditional company is removed from management layers, some managers will feel loss of power. They feel resistance to change increases, downsizing or their role changes that will cause dissatisfaction. So the managers must shift roles from boss to leader, from leader to coach, which is often resisted. Next disadvantage is your enforcement. Even with advanced IT systems, employees may resist using them. Doubts may arise about who has to monitor, who has to control, and to whom. And some extra efforts, it discourages adoption. Okay. Next is your lack of authority. Here, project managers will have high responsibility but low positional authority, which makes them very difficult and stressful to make coordination. Next is unclear roles and accountability. Decentralized decision makings basically try to create confusion. You will have some kind of blame games as well as lack of accountability is there. Okay, so basically, what will happen when a project fails? The team members blame each other. No single authority will take a kind of a responsibility who has done what. Okay, so basically, this horizontal organization is best suited for innovation driven environments, knowledge based industries, research and development. However, no doubt, I mean, they require a strong organization culture at the same time. There must be a kind of a mutual trust and mature and responsible employee should be there. So many of the modern organizations they try to adopt a hybrid structure, combining your hierarchy for control and horizontally for innovation. Now next is your vertical structure. A vertical structure is a hierarchical structure in which the authority flows from top to bottom. The name itself is vertical organization structure. So here the authority is flowing from top to bottom. And the decisions are usually taken by top management, and the employees will try to report to their immediate supervisors. So, the vertical structure should emphasize clear authority. They should have defined roles, centralized decision making, controlled standardization. Then you have two types of vertical structure. First is your functional structure, second is your divisional structure. Okay, now what do you mean by a functional structure? A functional structure will try to group employees according to their specializations or their functions. Here, each department will try to perform a specific role and they will have certain responsibilities and they will try to report to a functional head. Okay, basically, the common departments include your production, your sales, your marketing, finance, human resource, and R&D. Here, this particular structure will try to explain us clearly how employees will perform their specialized task. Each function will have their department head, and all the department head will try to report CEO or your top management. And there is a coordination between the departments that is done centrally by top management. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of this functional structure? You will have a kind of development of experts over there. Employees will try to gain deep expertise in their area. And also, for example, your HR executive is there. So, this particular person will try to focus only on recruitment, training, and performance appraisal. Next advantage is your efficiency and specialization, where people do their task where they are best at. Ultimately, this will improve the productivity. So the finance professionals, they try to handle budgeting and accounting rather than going for marketing tasks. Next, simple and logical structure that is very easy to understand and manage. Then what are the disadvantages? The first is departmental silos. Department may work in isolation. Okay, when they are working in isolation, they fail to communicate with each other. Okay, for example, a marketing company is trying to launch a campaign without informing procedures cause this will, so without informing production, ultimately this will cause supply issues, poor cross cultural coordination. That means joint activities across departments are difficult. Okay, that is launching a new product. For this, a proper coordination is required between R&D department, between marketing and production. Okay, if this becomes slow at that time, it becomes very difficult. Next, there must be a resistance to change. Employees become more comfortable with their routines and resistant innovation. Okay, so this structure works best when the organization is centralized, when the product and services are stable, where there is limited need for cross department collaboration. So ultimately, it also allows some economies of scale, such as your centralized purchasing. So, to overcome this coordination issues, organizations should use VPs or your general managers or your management information system or the committees or coordination teams. Next is your division structure. Now, basically, what happens in this division structure? Here, the employees are grouped based on their product, based on their market, and based on their region. So each division will try to operate like a small business unit with its own functions. Okay. So you have different types of divisional structures. The first is your product based divisional structure. Next, market based divisional structure. Next is your region based division structure. First is your product based division structure. Here, the divisions are created based on different products. Like how you have got a clothing company. In this clothing company, they have got a separate division for menswear, women's wear, and children's wear. So each division, they have got its own marketing, they have got its own finance tool, they have got their own production team. Next is your market based division structure. Here, the divisions are formed based on customer segments or markets. A retail company has got certain divisions for physical retail stores or going for your e-commerce, going for your catalog sales. So each division they try to focus on its customer needs. Next, region based divisional structure. In this region based division structure, the divisions are created based on their geographical area. Okay, like how some companies operate in northeast region, some companies operate in southwest region or southeast region. So each region they have got its own operational team to meet their local demands. What are the advantages of divisional structure? Better focus will be there on products, on markets, and on regions, and faster decision making at each and every division level, as well as improved accountability will be there and greater flexibility and responsive will be there. What are the disadvantages of there? Duplication of resources, high operational cost will be there, and possibility of unhealthy competition between divisions. So, vertical structure, they should try to provide control, clarity, and efficiency. Functional structure is best suitable for stable environment. Divisional structure suits your large and diversified organization, and many modern organizations they try to adopt a hybrid structure just to balance control and flexibility. Now, next is your matrix structure. Matrix structure means where we are trying to combine both functional and divisional structure. In this structure, each and every employee will have two bosses, okay, and they try to report to two managers simultaneously. That means this is trying to create a dual command system. Functional manager is there. Functional manager is responsible for technical expertise and administration. Project manager is there, or business unit manager, or product manager. They are responsible for outputs, they are responsible for deadlines and results. So, matrix structure means one employee reporting to two managers, one for how the work is done, and one for what work is done. Okay, so matrix structure works where employees are grouped by function like your HR, your finance, your marketing, your IT. At the same time, they are assigned to projects, products, customers, or regions. So both managers are jointly responsible for employee performance. If I'm taking an example of IT company, for example, an employee is there who is a software engineer. This particular person will try to report the functional manager. Okay, this functional manager is an IT head who is responsible for skill development, coding standards, or appraisal. At the same time, this person has to report to project manager as well, wherein this project manager is responsible for project deadlines, client requirements, as well as delivery. So here the IT head they have to focus on quality as well as the capability. And the project manager focuses on time, cost, and output. When I'm speaking about a construction company, basically you have your engineers, you have architects, you have finance staff, which are drawn from different departments. Okay, so what do they try to do? They try to work together until a project is completed. After completion, what do they try to do? They try to return to their functional departments. Okay, so this is why The matrix structure is very common in construction as well as in infrastructure projects. Okay. And what are the advantages of matrix structure? The functional and divisional partnership will be there. This structure basically focuses on more work and outcomes than hierarchy. Okay. Like a product is being launched. Okay. The team includes your marketing, it includes your finance as well as production experts. So all these people are working together to achieve a task. Next is your cost minimization. Okay, cost minimization by sharing resources, because basically the key experts they shared across different projects instead of being duplicated. Okay, and there must be a balance between time and cost. So functional manager they try to ensure efficiency and quality, and project manager ensures timely completion. Next advantage is your better product and market overview. Here, the management will have a clear view of products sold, that is, across between different regions or between different subsidiaries. That is, a global product that is sold in India, that is sold in Europe, can be monitored centrally. At the same time, what are the disadvantages of your matrix structure? You will have a kind of a confusion due to dual reporting. Reporting to whom? So, reporting to two managers can be mentally exhausting at the same time, right? Then unclear responsibilities will be there. Unclear responsibilities in the sense employees may be confused about who has assigned them work, who evaluates their performance. Okay, so if a deadline is missed, what will happen? Both managers may be blaming each other. There will be a kind of conflict between managers. So functional and product managers, they may give their conflicting priorities. Okay, that is, the functional manager wants training, and at the same time, the project manager will want immediate delivery. Okay. So, in this particular scenario, what will happen? There will be a conflict arising between two different managers. Next is your increased stress and reduced performance. Here, the conflicting demands. As the conflicting demands increases, stress increases, and ultimately it will reduce your employee productivity. And excessive meetings and coordination. More time is being spent on discussions, clarifications, meetings. Ultimately, what it results you? It results you less time for your actual work. Okay, so from matrix structure and management control system, from their perspective, the control is being shared, clear performance measures are required, strong communication systems are essential, and authority must be clearly defined. So, the control challenges that takes place in your matrix structure. This will ensure your performance evaluation becomes complex in nature, accountability accountability is diluted, and it requires strong interpersonal coordination. Now, what are the matrix structure beyond two dimensions? Sometimes it may happen that matrix structure becomes too functional. Okay, functional, product, and region. In this scenario, what will happen? It increases the complexity. It increases the complexity, exaggerates confusion, and it will make control very difficult. So, what is the role of HR in your matrix structure? HR plays a very critical role in success of matrix structure, where they try to ensure fairness in performance appraisal. They try to resolve conflicts between managers. They try to train managers for collaboration. They try to monitor manager to manager relationships. So the success of a matrix structure depends ultimately both on relationships rather than on hierarchy. So matrix structure provides flexibility, better resource utilization, and improved coordination. But at the same time, it requires strong communication, cooperation, well designed management control system to avoid confusion and conflict. Now, next coming towards responsibility center. performance. In simple words, it is a part of an organization where one manager is held accountable for certain activities and results. Okay. So an organization is not a single unit. It is a collective of many responsibility centers. Each center is shown as a box in the organization chart. So all responsibility centers together they form a hierarchy. Okay. So responsibility centers, it exists at all levels of your organization. It exists at lower level, that is sections, workshops, small teams will be there. Middle level, departments, divisions like your HR department, finance department, and highest level, your business unit, your entire organization. So this goes on from the point of view of top management and the board of directors. So the whole company itself is a responsibility center. Though the term is used for internal unit, so HR derived from your organizational goal, and it should be aligned with your organizational strategy. Now, what are the inputs that are used by your responsibility center? Your physical input, okay? Then you have your human input, you have your services. Apart from this, financial resources. Physical inputs are nothing but your raw materials, your components. Human inputs, your labor, labor hours, managerial time. Okay. Services are your logistic services or maintenance services or your IT services. And financial resources, your working capital, equipment, machinery, and other assets. Okay. And what are the outputs that are produced by your responsibility center? It's your goods and services. Okay. Internal outputs, these are referred to another responsibility center. And external outputs sold to customers outside the organization. Okay. So the responsibility centers are the foundation of management control system because performance is measured center wise. Accountability is clearly defined and also control becomes very systematic. Now, next is importance of responsibility center. The responsibility center, as I told you, is not just a unit of work. It is a key tool for management control and accountability. So here, organizations are often decentralized, means decision making is distributed across departments, divisions, and different units. So the responsibility centers, they try to help assign accountability for cost, for revenue, for quality and investment. And they link performance, measurements, rewards, and organizational goals. So the hierarchy of responsibility center will try to ensure that each manager will knows their responsibility and is award based on performance that contributes to the overall success of the organization. So what are the key importance of responsibility? It will try to facilitate your decentralization. It will try to enable performance measurement. Then it will try to link your performance to rewards. It will try to improve overall organization goals by knitting together all the centers with performance measures and rewards. At the same time, decentralized decisions contribute to profitability and return on investment. And also, it provides clarity in return on investment and investment decisions. That means it will help the managers to understand how their unit contributes to return on investment. Okay. And also, it will try to integrate decentralized decision making. That means where we are trying to combine autonomy and accountability because performance metrics plus rewards. This will ensure that independent unit work toward common organization goals. Okay, so these responsibility centers are very essential for decentralized decision making centralization for performance encouragement, for performance measurement, accountability, and aligning individual and performance with overall organizational goals. That includes your profit and your return on investment. Now you have different types of responsibility centers. The first is your profit center, second is your cost center, third is your investment center. First, coming towards your profit center. Profit center is a unit of organization where the manager is responsible for both revenues and costs. And therefore, it is accountable for profits because profit is nothing but revenue minus cost. So here the manager has got a control over most operating decisions that affects their profit. And performance is measured using profits, not return on investment. So the profit center do not control investment. So profit alone may not reflect your return on investment. And what are the characteristics of a profit center? Traceable cost and revenues. That means the manager can identify both costs that is incurred and the revenues that are earned by the unit. Then you have your independent operating unit where each profit center they operates with some autonomy, and you will have an alignment with your organization goals where you have profit maximization that should be consistent with overall company objectives. Then performance measurements, that is input, outputs, and profits are compared against standards. Next is your cost center. In cost center, the management is not the only responsible for controlling costs and not revenue. Performance is measured by budgeted cost versus actual cost. Example is your HR department, maintenance department, or your IT support unit. So here the IT manager, it will try to manage help desk operations. So basically its goal is to keep support costs within budgets, regardless of your revenue generation. Okay. Next is your investment center. In investment center, management is responsible for profit and investment use, both revenue cost and asset. And also the performance is measured using return on investment. Okay. Like example is your divisional manager of a manufacturing unit controlling plant, your machinery and your operations unit. So different responsibility centers, they will try to allow managers to be accountable for the aspects of the business they control, like your cost, your profit, or your investment. Ultimately, it will try to help your top management measure and the performance measures are being measured accurately and implemented effective management control system. Next is your expense center. This is a unit or a division, you can say, where the organization for which costs are measured and controlled. But here we are not directly generating revenue. It does not directly generate revenue. The manager is basically responsible for controlling the expenses against some kind of predetermined standards. And there are some certain departments that may be discretionary. Okay, that means expenses are decided based on what the management has judged on it. Okay, like expense center, basically it focuses on cost efficiency but not on profit. Okay, so the standard expense amount is predetermined, and also the performance is measured by comparing actual expenses with your standard expenses. But no revenue generation is there. So these units do not directly earn your revenue, and their output may be intangible, like the services, HR services, or sometimes it may be hard to quantify in your monetary terms. And the control is basically focused on cost and its efficiency. Okay, so I'll just try to I wind up my class over here. In our next session, we'll try to continue with your fourth unit. So I'll just give you a short summary on this. As we know, this management control system, in this we have seen two components. Okay. The first is your structure and the next is your process. In structure, how the organization is arranged into units and its subunits, and process, how the managers use information to guide, control, and evaluate performance. And also we have seen roles of responsibility center. Okay. That is the structure of MCS is composed of different responsibility centers and each center is headed by a manager who is accountable for its own performance. And responsibility center will act as a building block of the organization. And then we have seen different types of responsibility centers. Okay. So thank you all for attending my session. And our next class will continue with the remaining part, that is responsibility centers with respect to your cost and expense center. Thank you all. Have a nice day.